Hello and welcome to a brief video lecture that I've put together for you with my comments and concerns about your intermediate drafts of the profile podcast assignment. And since several of you gave me audio files and others gave me written documents, I'm just going to go through my slides here and talk about my comments and concerns rather than pulling up your drafts and talking about them. Okay, so um, so one of the concerns that I have is don't make this essay yet another personal narrative essay. Um, so as I say in the next sentence, it's okay to use I in your essay, but keep the focus on your topic rather than on you. So, and I say don't walk your reader through the research process. Um, so an example of this that I sometimes see is that someone wants to profile a particular topic, and then they say, to find out more, I first, went and did some observations. And, when I was observing, I saw this, and then I saw that, and then I saw this. And then I talked to a few people, and, when I talked to them, they told me, and this, that, and the other. And so the author becomes kind of a central person in the profile. And, like I'm saying, it's okay to use I in your essay, but let's not make this essay about you writing this paper. So instead, keep the focus on your topic, and you can kind of move in and out. But if you find yourself saying I a lot, just go back and look at it and see, is there a way I can say this without referring to myself? So it might be that you want to say you instead of I. So when you first enter this building, one of the first things you'll notice is, we don't want to overdo that either, but we want to keep the focus on our topic and not on you as the writer. So, okay. Also, if you're going to use interviews, don't insert the entire interview into your podcast essay. Instead, excerpt them. So take out certain key questions and answers and things that they said. But inserting the entire interview is kind of like when you write an extended research paper and you do a lot of block quotes. Sometimes it looks like people are padding their essay with block quotes. And so I don't want you to pad your profile essay with interviews, but exercise a little editorial license on those. Also, don't refer to the assignment or to your project or paper in your essay. Sometimes people say, before I started this project, I never really thought too much about X or something. So that kind of reminds me as a professor that you're just doing this for this class, and it also makes me feel like that you haven't imagined an audience any larger than just me or your peers in the classroom. And we're supposed to be working toward academic writing, and academic writing involves a larger audience than just our class. So try to make sure that you're thinking about that larger audience in your essay. Okay, and then as I talked about in class, try to create a dominant impression. So I think our text refers to it as an interesting angle, but I kind of like the term dominant impression. I've seen that in other texts that have the profile assignment. And you should know what your dominant impression is as you start to write this. And you should think about, how can I re-emphasize the dominant impression throughout my essay? So maybe there's something you do at the beginning and something that you do at the end, kind of like a framing device that helps to drive home that dominant impression. And maybe as you're starting paragraphs throughout, maybe you're kind of returning to this dominant theme that you're trying to get across. So that's one of the key aspects of a profile essay, and we need to make sure that we cover that. Okay, moving on. In recording your essay, be sure to slow down. Don't rush through your text. So there seems to be a tendency sometimes when you're reading something to try to read it as fast out loud as you would if you're reading it silently to yourself. and if you rush through it, it's going to sound rushed, and it makes it harder for the listener to enjoy it. So slow down, take your time, articulate your words clearly. If you mess up on pronouncing something or get kind of tongue-tied, I think I said the third bullet item, pause for a few seconds and then restart. And then as you go back and look at your waveform later, you'll see a flat line in a particular place, and that'll indicate to you, oh, that's where I messed up. And then you go back in, you do your editing kind of before and after that to get rid of that. So, and the second bullet item I have here is do a test recording to try to test your volume levels, etc. I do that every time before I create one of these video lectures. Sometimes it's been too soft, sometimes it's been too hot. And when it's too hot, then the waveform maxes out in the box that shows the waveform. And so everything's hitting the high range too much. And so I have to kind of adjust the input volume on my computer to get it just right. So, and then final bullet item that I have here, continue to think of how audio files and or sound effects can help you tell your profile. So I think a lot of times those really help to establish some of that dominant impression at the beginning as well as at the end. So, and maybe you can intersperse some throughout. So I think that, you know, these are aspects of using audio as text. And if you're just reading your essay into the microphone, then you've really missed out on that opportunity to use different types of audio as text. You're kind of just relying on your written text at that point. So try as much as possible to intersperse those things. And I think those are my main comments and concerns at this point, and we'll work toward a nearly final draft for our next class. We'll do a final edit, and then I'll set up the submission folder for the final draft. Okay, good luck working toward a final draft. Thanks.